Word list 11. Days.
台讲台
Daunt.
使沮丧
Olive was a brave woman, but she felt daunted by the task ahead. Dauntless.
不屈不挠的大胆的
Dauntless courage. Dearth.
缺乏
A dearth of food. Debacle.
冰河的溃裂大败
The collapse of this corporation was described as the greatest financial debacle in U.S. history. Debase.
降低贬损
Greed could debase one's character. Debilitate.
使衰弱使虚弱
The troops were debilitated by hunger and disease. Deceitful.
欺诈的
The press was accused of being hypocritical and deceitful. Deceive.
欺骗蒙蔽
Many home buyers were deceived into buying homes at inflated prices. Decent.
体面的像样的正派的合乎礼仪的合适的
This movie is not decent for children to see because it contains too much violence. Decisive.
决定性的
Interest rate levels can play a decisive role in determining currency values. Declaim.
雄辩演说
The author wrote an article to declaim against the evils of alcohol. Decorous.
有礼貌的
Decorous behavior. Decoy.
诱骗
These men started the fire as a decoy so that they could escape from police. Decrepit.
衰老的
A decrepit building. A decrepit old man. Decry.
谴责
The measures were decried by the newspaper as useless. Deduce.
推论演绎出
The police were able to deduce the probable time of death from the temperature of the body. Defendant.
被告
Defer.
推迟延期听从服从
College loan payments are deferred until students finish their degrees. I will be happy to defer to your advice on these matters. Deference.
顺从尊重
The female visitors wore veils in deference to the customs of the country. Defiant.
挑战的挑衅的目中无人的
A defiant attitude. Deficient.
不足的缺乏的欠缺的
Deaf people are sometimes treated as being mentally deficient. Deficit.
赤字逆差
A budget deficit. Definite.
明确的肯定的一定的
A definite answer. Defraud.
欺骗
This man was charged with defrauding an insurance company of $20,000. Deft.
巧妙的熟练的敏捷的灵巧的
The artist finished off the painting with a few deft strokes of the brush. Degenerate.
衰退堕落退化
Degenerate.
堕落的退化的
Inactivity can make your joints stiff, and the bones may begin to degenerate. Dehydration.
干燥脱水
When people find the foreigner, he was dying of dehydration. Dejected.
沮丧的灰心的
Delegate.
代表团成员
Delegate.
委派或选举，为代表，授权，把委托给。
The company decided to delegate Frank to attend the conference. Deleterious.
有害的，有毒的。
The deleterious effect. Deliberate.
深思熟虑的，故意的，先有准备的。
A deliberate decision. Delineate.
描绘。
Donald had the power to delineate faithfully what was before him. Delude.
迷惑，蛊惑。
John suffered himself to be deluded by the lady's specious appearance. Deluge.
使泛滥，淹尽，压倒。
Parts of the western region were deluged with the flood. Delusion.
错觉。
Delusion of grandeur. Demeanor.
行为风度。
A professional demeanor. Demise.
死亡。
A sudden demise. Demolish.
毁坏，破坏，推翻，粉碎。
A number of farmlands have been demolished so that the new factories can be built. Demolition.
毁坏。
Demolition kit. Demonstrate.
证明，证实，演示，举例说明，表明。
The Economist has written a long article to demonstrate what the enterprise had done was a folly. Demur.
犹豫不决。
When Gordon continued to demur, his doctor promised to prescribe only 5 pills, one for each of the next 5 nights. Demure.
端庄的，假装矜持的。
A demure smile. Denigrate.
贬低，诋毁。
Rather than being denigrated and despised, Bruce was admired for his courage. Denominate.
命名。
Denote.
指示，表示。
Certain symbols, as a rule, are used to denote relationships between family members on the family tree. Denounce.
谴责，公开指责，公然抨击，告发某人。
Many experts have denounced the painting as a fake. Deplete.
耗尽，使衰竭。
As oil reserves are increasingly depleted, its price will continue to rise. Deplore.
表示悲痛。
Oscar deplored his children's lack of inventiveness. Deport.
举止，驱逐。
The man, never fully identified, was deported out of the country. Deportment.
行为，举止。
Improper deportment. Depraved.
堕落的，颓废的，邪恶的。
A depraved mind. Depreciate.
反对，轻视，折旧，使贬值。
For years, the country has deliberately tried to depreciate the currency slightly each year to keep its exports competitive. Depress.
压抑，降低，使沮丧，使消沉，使萧条。
It depresses me to think that I'll probably still be doing exactly the same job in 5 years' time. Derelict.
被抛弃的，玩忽职守的。
A derelict ship. Deride.
嘲弄，嘲笑。
Critics derided Danny as contentious and impractical. Derivative.
衍生的，无创意的，衍生物。
A derivative design. Derive.
取得，导出，引申，起源于，出自。
Laura derived her enthusiasm for music from her mother. Descendant.
派生的，
Descry.
查看、发现、远远看到。
I looked in the direction of the square, and there I descried a man running as hard as he could. Desert.
沙漠，
Desert.
丢弃、放弃。
Alvin has become so rude that his classmates are deserting him. Desiccate.
使干涸，使脱水，使枯竭。
With field peas, the correct time to desiccate is when 70% of the pods have changed from green to tan. Designate.
指明、指出、任命、指派。
Mr. Smith designated his son as his successor. Desolate.
使荒芜、
Desolate.
荒凉的、无人烟的、孤独的。
A bleak and desolate landscape. The invading forces desolated the magnificent palace. Despair.
绝望，对，绝望。
Whenever I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love has always won. Desperate.
令人绝望的、不顾一切的、拼死的。
A desperate man. Despicable.
可比的、卑劣的。
A despicable act.